Hello and welcome to the Luxury Lounge. That's right. Every Thursday we head in the lounge, we shut the door, and we air our grievances with the world. And there's no grievance that's too big or too small or too frivolous. It is your problem, and it shall be heard. So if you have a complaint, send it to JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. That's JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Title it Luxury Lounge. Let us know what you're talking about. Give us a little preview. Luxury Lounge. Ba-da-da-da. Let us know what you're talking about. And I just want to thank you. Thank you for coming in the lounge every Thursday. It's a 420 episodes. That's right, you potheads. You getting groovy today? You're out of your mind? You had a couple milligrams? I'm sure you're wandering around some park right now listening to me. Yeah, I'm talking right to you. I'm coming to you through the podcast. I hope that freaked you out. I'm not a big pot smoker, as you can tell by the way I just explained all of that pot-adjacent thoughts. But good for you, 420. Good. It's a big day for us. If you're listening right now, I'm heading to Europe. That's right. Do they celebrate 420 in Europe? Is that an international thing, Shelby? Amsterdam. I'm coming to Amsterdam. I'm going to be there. Getting all freaky deaky on your herb. No, I'm not a big smoker. But I'm going to be there. I'm coming to Dublin, Belfast, London, Copenhagen, Amsterdam. That's right. Coming to smoke your freaky eeky. And Berlin, Oslo. And then, listen, when I get back, for you Americans, you American pigs, I'm coming to Chicago, Philadelphia, Boston, New York, D.C. for You Up Live. So the You Up Live, if you listen to the JTrain podcast, you don't listen to You Up. If you listen to both, if you listen to neither, here's what the show is. It's basically a live dating talk show. We bring people on stage, we give dating app makeovers, we play Red Flag Deal Breaker, we take dating questions. It is a lot of fun. It is very different than a stand-up show, and I think it is built to be enjoyed by anyone. It doesn't have to be a listener to the You Up podcast. So come bring the group chat. It's a fun event, and those are big cities with, I know people are there. So jaredfreid.com. And then I go back to doing stand-up, Kansas City, Nashville, Lexington, Kentucky, Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm always adding dates, jaredfreid.com. jaredfreid.com for the tickies. Otherwise, very excited about today's guest. New to the lounge, new to the JTrain universe, the JCU, Hanna Dickinson. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
How are you? What's going on?
Not too much. I'm on my second coffee today. I'm like...
Coffee number 2. This is my second coffee. When I started with an iced coffee, ease into it, then I go to a regular Americano. That's my iced Americano. Are you a coffee person?
I am. I gave up Adderall for my 2023 resolution, so I'm like...
Were you an Adderall baby? Were you an Adderall adult?
I was an Adderall adult.
Okay.
Which is embarrassing. Well, I had it in high school for sure.
You took it in high school?
No, I had ADD, sorry.
Okay.
And then in college I got tested, and then I had it.
And then you were like, okay, I got the goods, and you used it all through college and then out of college?
Mm-hmm. And then I was like, my dose was going up and up and up, and I'm like, at what point am I just gonna die of a heart attack?
At what point am I just an addict on this
exactly
thing?
It's like days I couldn't have it. I that's my complaint. I don't have Adderall anymore, but days I wasn't taking it, I felt it, and I was like, this is a problem.
Well, I've never, as much as my family is not a holistic natural remedy family, but they were for certain things. To them, the idea of my parents were never let's get them on Ritalin family. It was just a wild kid, or maybe I was just not. I was probably more like a pug growing up than a than a Chihuahua. So I can understand that they weren't like, this kid needs some Ritalin, but they were just never of that ilk. And you could which I don't know. It's weird because they're just not. They take any medicine, give it to them. So. It is, when I got into college, you'd see these Adderall people, and it was kind of being thrown around, given out this answer to all your studying ills.
Yeah, my parents didn't medicate me as a child either. It wasn't until I got to college where I found a psychiatrist on my own.
Yes.
I was like, I'll just use their insurance.
Yeah.
But... And then it was like, oh, I need this for sure. And I am ADHD. I had my brain scan when I was in rehab. It's pretty bad up there, but It's just not. I have more of addictive personality than I do ADHD.
I definitely have an addictive personality because I definitely will have 7 coffees today. I'll definitely, yesterday I flew in from Spokane. Thank you to everyone who came to those shows. Super weird shows. Definitely one of those, I would call it a working weekend. It wasn't like I was partying on stage. It definitely was wrangling. You ever have those shows where you feel like you're like, not totally in control, but you're in control?
Yeah, when I'm featuring for someone who's just not my crowd, I'm like, here we go.
Featuring for someone, and for those listening, that don't know, the opener for if you have a large audience, you can bring someone, and then if you're selling out the place, like if the audience is JTrain podcast fans, I know who to bring, I know who's going to be comfortable opening. And I can and what will work for them. Sometimes they're like, come open for me, and you're like, I gotta go for that crowd. And who's? Can you name names? Is there any? Because I know who I've walked into. Like Mark Norman has a show at New York Comedy Club, and it's like just like a bunch of Rogan people. And I walk in there, and I'm like, here we go. Like I have this thought of like I just and then I end up doing well, but it doesn't ever feel like I'm in control in the way you're saying.
Yeah, my friends, and I'm opening for them in April, and I'm very grateful for it. But Chad and JT, do you know them?
Oh, so Chad and JT are they're the guys who go to like community meetings.
Yeah, but they're like big bros,
right?
And I talk shit about white dudes, so I'm like,
right.
Raise your, like. Make some noise if your name is Matt, and they're like, yeah, let's go. And I'm like,
the whole crowd, Matt. Right.
And then I have like 5 material on how much they suck.
Well, I would think the Chad and JT, what's their show called on Netflix?
Chad and JT Go Deep.
Go Deep, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it Aware Bros? Aren't they like? Isn't there like an acknowledgement that we are in on the joke, or is there people that follow them that are like? That's us.
I was like, your fans dress like you. And they're like, Hannah, they just dress like that. So I'm like, I don't know.
That's such an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So they're basically making fun of these people that now are like, oh, they're representing us. They never see the other side of the joke.
It doesn't seem that way. So
that is very interesting. That's like Larry the Cable Guy doing an impression of a hick Larry the Cable Guy, and then everyone being like, that's me, get her done, and then it just being that. It's not, there's no other way. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I hope they don't get mad at me for saying. They're great guys, and they do have a fun crowd, but it does feel like guys who throw up the shaka unironically.
Oh my God, throw up the shaka. Oh my God. Wait, so you know them, is there do they do a stand-up show or is
they do stand-up.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and
so
it's
they go together or alone?
They go up separately. Mm-hmm. And then I go up before, and I think it's like, the last show I did, it was like they have another guy that's in their crew, and he went up before me, and then I went up. So it's kind of like, they're like, who is this bitch? You know what I mean?
Right. Well, that happens with anyone you open for. I would say the best to, I would say the best, anyone you open for, they're like, wait a minute, we're here for our person.
Yeah.
Get it over with so we can get to the show. I think the best one I ever did that was like really fun for an opener was Bert Kreischer. I opened for him, and his audience was like older enough that they were like, we're here for a show. We want to see the full whoever's Bert has brought, which was really nice. I've been on other shows where especially when the audience is younger, it's like, get them the fuck out of here.
Yeah, which as a stand-up, I'm like, it teaches you how to just be like, I guess have those, what you're saying about your show in Spokane.
Right.
Spokane.
Say it correctly.
Yikes.
They get fucking pissed.
And where it's just like, you have to learn to just do your thing and not zone out, or because I have a tendency to be like, all right, fuck you guys, but I'm trying to do that less because that doesn't really get you fans.
Right. You don't want to give up on them. I've opened, I used to open for Michelle Wolf all the time, and especially when I opened for her, it was right after she did the White House Correspondents' Dinner. So like, as far as like not wanting a white bro there, that audience did not want me there at all. There were certain towns where I would, because it was just myself and Michelle, and Michelle is just like us, a stand-up. Like, she doesn't, she did the White House Correspondents' Dinner, but like, she's a sniper. If you say go kill that, she'll write 1,000 jokes about whatever that is. So it was funny because it was like, there's a portion of the audience that are there for stand-up. Let me see the show, and they're great. And then there's a portion that are like, she made fun of the bad man. I want to see more make fun of the bad man jokes. And you go, and that's kind of the worst type of audience, where it's like, now you're coming here with like your set list for the comedian, you know?
Yeah, I feel that way now about crowd work. Like, people are posting their crowd work, so now a lot of crowds are going to shows thinking that's what stand-up is all crowd work. And you're
tough.
like, I'm not trying to have a conversation. Like, crowd work is fun, but that's not why I got into the game. You know,
Right. I hear you. I post a lot of crowd work stuff in it.
Sorry, I'm shitting on you right now.
No. I mean, like, I taped a special in December. Once it's out, like, we're putting out bits. You know, like, it's not like crowd work every week. If there's a fun moment that deserves a post, yeah, fuck yeah. But like, you don't want it to, and especially because I go up and I'm not there are comics that only do crowd work. I go up and I'm like, I'll stop my material, take a break, let's talk to the audience. Like, I think that's a fun thing at any live show. But it's not what I'm there to do. I don't need someone there with their fun story to have a good show.
Yeah, do you think now that you've been posting, does it feel that people are always coming prepared to your shows?
No, I think the audiences have been really good about it. Like, I've had a lot of fun. Sometimes I have a video, I don't know if it's up already, but I hope I have this video. This woman in the crowd in Indianapolis. Like, I usually have the woman is the fan, and then she's brought a very judgmental boyfriend. And so so this woman sent me a message, hey, if you want some help for your opening, I'm sure you're nervous, my husband has a joke for you. And it was like this horrific, like, dude, bro, like, it was basically the joke. If it's not out yet, you'll see it. If you can find it on my Instagram, it's basically, he was like, how do you make a Midwestern woman give you a blowjob? And it was like, put some ranch on it. Like, that was his, like, that was what he suggested as the opener for my. So this is what he thinks is. So I get through like 10 minutes of my set, and I stop everything. I go, okay, I have some user-generated content. So I like almost making fun of it, but then it got a laugh because I told him, I go, see how I warmed everyone up to get to your shit. Like, I'm okay with like making it awkward. I had women in Spokane in the front, and they're yelling out, and I was like, I'll stop the show. Hey, what do you got to say? Like, I let people bomb, which is very helpful, but. I don't know, like with Michelle Wolf, it was hard for me to open for her because if you came with like, I want political, and then you're like, and then I show up, hey everybody, like, they were like mad that it wasn't, like, white guy with no problems.
I could never open for a political comedian.
She's not even political, but at the time, yeah.
Or just like, even when there are packets to submit to some sort of political thing, I just always say no because I'm afraid of that, of getting an intellectual crowd, because then they're going to be like, what the fuck is this?
Well, it makes me, I don't care about it. So as bad as that sounds, like, I have to care about something to talk about it in my stand-up. And I don't care about what anyone else is into politically. Like, I really, whatever you're doing, fine. There are things that I disagree with you, but like, I don't think that's a fun show for me. So it's like, even Spokane, I just got back from there. And I started the show by saying the town looks like everyone is dressed in cosplay for their political affiliation. Like, they look like the right people look like they're dressed in fucking Oakleys and, these colors won't fade t-shirts. And then the liberals are all dressed with blue hair and, she, them, they, them t-shirts. Like, it really just looked like that. And like, it's and in my mind, I'm like, fuck, I hate to start the show this way because now it sounds like this is the whole show. Like, I don't want to put people on guard. Like, the rest of the show is talking about my parents, Like,
but were they like uncomfortable with it at first?
No, they loved it because I think what happens I think stand-up shows are the perfect show for moderates. I think if you're an extreme person, go see the extreme person you follow online. Go, you'll have a much better time being agreed with for an hour. I think if you're a rational person, you like stand-up shows. Like, so many people, I got messages being like, you nailed Spokane. I was like, that was like made me feel good, like to represent, because it's like the quiet majority of a certain kind. But it's hard with these shows because you don't want to like come in there like, listen, I'm not there to piss off someone on their Saturday night,
I know. I'm such a people pleaser too, where I think politically or doing that kind of stuff, if I make someone feel awkward in an audience, I'm immediately like,
right. No, I'm like, the same way.
I'm sorry, I love you.
I want them to have fun.
Yeah.
Our goals are aligned, but I think alcohol can ruin everything, because
I'm sober, I know.
How long have you been sober?
I'll be 2 years in May.
Good for you. This is great. I mean, I am not sober. Yesterday, I had 2 wines on the plane.
Plain wine, huh?
Plain wine.
I'm already judgmental.
Judgy sober person.
That's me.
Let's get to the complaints, because
Okay.
mine is a plain complaint.
Okay, let's hear it.
Everyone go follow Hanna Dickinson at Hans Dickey on Instagram. Hilarious comic. You're going to love her. You come to Seattle in June, right?
Yeah, June 1st.
I got all these Seattle. I know I have Seattle people because I got messages all weekend being like, "You're in Spokane. Why wouldn't you come to Seattle?" So it was like a lot of judgment there. I love Seattle. Where are you performing?
It's the Crocodile Lounge.
Oh, I've heard it's great.
Yeah, I've only heard good things. One night only, so come on out.
One night only at Hans Dickey. Go follow immediately. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Let's get to the complaints. I will do my complaint first, okay? Hit the music, Shelby. Jared, he has some problems. Jared, he's got some issues to do. Get off his chest right now. Jared has a lot of Sometimes I get invited to things that I don't. Jared has a issue. Maybe this is. I might change my complaint.
Okay.
I just got a call and a text, and it's like, I don't want to do anything.
What's the event?
Hockey game
Tonight?
Wait, let me get to my complaint. It just happened.
Well, is it a hot person? What should I go with them?
No, they're married with a kid.
Never mind.
Here's the thing. Here's my complaint, and it just happened right now. I'll save my other complaint about plain wine for a future episode. I get these calls every now and again. Hey, you want to go to the Rangers game? And it's like, I don't want to do anything. Mm-hmm. And you don't want to be that person. Again, as you said, people pleasers. I want someone, like, I have a call and a text on the day of, tonight, got tickets. And you know what sucks about that? You feel like you're raining on the parade. Like, I actually have a built-in excuse because The Bachelor's tonight, and I watch The Bachelor, and people know I, like, am invested in this franchise somewhat.
Well, so, not everyone, clearly.
Apparently. They don't know what night of the week it is, apparently. But, like, I hate when someone's like, I got 2 tickets, you're in. And you're like, no. Like, I wish there was a way to, like, softly put that out there for me to softly say no.
Well, I think also, I don't mean to hurt your feelings, but you are definitely a backup invite. Okay,
absolutely.
It's day of.
And, well, that's the problem.
So there's a desperation with them.
Right. Desperation, I'm the backup, and also it's like being the backup hookup. Like, they know I'll be a fun time. They know, they know I'll suck some dick. They know I'll eat a hot dog. They know I know sports enough where I'm not like a drag on the night. Yeah, I am the situationship for everyone's shitty basketball game that they got given tickets to that no one wanted to go to.
And they're trying to be like, oh, you come tonight, like all this excitement so you don't feel like a backup, but you're like, bitch, I know I'm the backup.
Right. Invite me with the excitement of what this actually is. Hey, I got this ticket. When you message me to go day of, hey, I have this ticket. I know you probably got things to do. Give me that. That everyone should have. Your autocorrect should have. Do you want to write? Do you know you think you know you got things to do? Like, give me the understand. Don't call me too. I have a missed call.
Did he call first or text first?
I think it's a call first. Let's see. The call was 12:54. The text 12:55. That was a call for no. Don't call me. No, people aren't dying. The Rangers have a game. I don't care.
Well, I'm not a big hockey fan in general, and like people who love hockey, my old manager loved hockey, and it was just like it was like something. Every hockey game was like a life or death experience.
It's
and
too
like,
much.
Relax.
Right. It's too much. I've never gotten along with hockey people. I'm from outside of Boston. If you were a hockey person, it's a very specific type. It's a very specific type of drunk. The women are a very specific type that they were never attracted to me. I was never attracted to them. Hockey bitch, her and I, we never, are you calling me? Hold on, Shelby coming in on FaceTime. No, I don't want to go to. See, this is like, I don't want to go to a hockey game. Shelby's. This is the face you have to look at when you want to go to a hockey game. Look at, they're just like, you're ruining this guy's day. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see Shelby, a very rare Shelby sighting on the YouTube. YouTube.com/Jared Freid. Let's get to Hanna Dickinson's complaint. Hit the music. It's the guest's turn to complain.
Pretty good singer.
They're ready to jump in. They've got lots of problems too. It ain't all about Jared. Let's hear their complaint of the day. Let's hear their complaint of the day. They're invited on the show to have some fun and complain with you. Let's hear that complaint.
Yeah, so my complaint, so I live in Manhattan Beach.
Yes, love Manhattan. I mean, how much shit can you talk on Matt's while living in being named Hannah in Manhattan Beach?
That's so true. I know.
The mirror is placed on you.
I only match with Matt's and DJ's named Kevin, honestly. But
Manhattan Beach is a dream of a place to me. Like when I'm out of college, I had a group of friends from Penn State went directly to Manhattan Beach, and that was like the first time we like went and visited someone's like post-college life, and you're like, people live like this, like famous people walk around. It's a place where no one's working, it seems.
No.
It's perfect for if I was like a young person with a job I didn't have to go in, like a no office job, a remote job, and I had money to like live somewhere, that's where I would go.
Well, I got lucky because my hairdresser, who I've known for 10 years, her and her boyfriend broke up. So she found this spot and was like, I need a roommate. So it was like perfect timing. But my problem with that area is I went to go,
Simsies?
Okay, I love Simsies.
You love Simsies, yeah.
But they have two coffee shops, and I went to one, and I ordered a coffee and a large sparkling water, which was $6. But I was like,
sparkling water was $6.
Yes, but I was like, if I'm gonna sit there, I'm gonna tip them, so that it's fair.
I'll buy the ticket to sit at your place.
Exactly.
Yes.
So I buy this shit, and then I go to sit down, and they're like, I was like, where are your outlets? And he said, we don't have outlets.
No.
I returned the water. That's how pissed I returned it.
Good for you.
Because I was like, I can't, my computer's dead. I can't sit here. I'm not going to go, whatever.
Listen, if you have a policy of no laptops, okay. Like, put it on the door. Don't rope me in and then go, oh, you need power? Like, don't play dumb.
That's the thing. No, they have Wi-Fi and people working on their computers, but you have to charge your computer before you go in. I'm like,
They're trying to ice you out. They're trying to do the back door. This is a very LA Manhattan Beach thing. We don't want conflict. We want you to have to feel uncomfortable to leave. We will freeze you out of here. We will turn up the heat so high that you'll go, wait, it's a little hot in here. Yeah. And then they go, well, we have no control over the heat. It just turns on automatically. Guess you gotta go. And that's what they're doing to you. This is to me, and I don't like this language, but I would call them a pussy.
When they said that, I was like, this is a lemonade stand. I was like, this is such bullshit.
Right.
And I didn't want to get mad at the guys behind the counter because I know it's not their policy. But
well, they're a part of it. They are foot soldiers in this weird war that is being waged. I'd rather you come at me with conflict than this like passive aggressive, oh, there's no outlets? You have to plug in a computer? It's like, we've all had these computers for a decade now. They run on, like, we can take them off the outlet for like 7 minutes.
That's what I'm like. Who are these people who don't? Well, they don't have Premiere or they don't edit because they don't have to make these stupid short fucking videos for Instagram. But yeah, I was so furious.
I would be just as mad, and I just don't like the it's passive aggressiveness. It is so LA to me. It is so like, oh, we like to promote. Like, I'd rather the place be like, yeah, we're douchebags. We're a no laptop, no, put them down. We want to create an environment. Be the fucking douchebag. Don't be the, oh, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, but why give Wi-Fi? Why have Wi-Fi if you're not going to have outlets?
No, they want both ways. They want you to sit and drink as much coffee as possible, but not for too long. Right? We'll give you a couple hours, but after a couple hours, when your device starts running out, I guess you gotta go. Trends and fads come and go, especially when it comes to health and wellness. While trying a wacky juice cleanse or an ice cream diet can be fun, you know deep down that it isn't sustainable. Noom isn't a fad. They use psychology, not trends, to help you make lasting changes and reach your weight loss goals. I'm a huge fan of what Noom's doing because they're going after the root of the issue, and I'm in that boat. Noom helps you keep the right state of mind, and also helps you look at things in the way and look at food in the way that is more beneficial to you, that's going to keep you on track. It's mental. It's a mental game, and Noom understands that. Noom guides you through short daily exercises. That's what I like. You can play. You get little tidbits and tips. It just keeps you on your game. Noom guides you through short daily exercises that teach you what kind of an eater you are, why you have cravings, and sustainable ways to lose weight while still feeling satiated, which means not being hungry all the time. You can also be matched with a health coach for personalized accountability and motivation. First-time users lose an average of 15 pounds after 16 weeks, and 95% of users say Noom is a great long-term lifestyle. 95% of people agreeing on a weight loss regimen is crazy. Stop chasing health trends and build sustainable, healthy habits with Noom's psychology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com/JTrain. That's NOOM.com/JTrain to sign up for your trial today. Check out Noom's first ever book, The Noom Mindset, a deep dive into the psychology of behavior change. Available to buy now wherever books are sold. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com, JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. Here with Hanna Dickinson at Hands Dicky on Instagram. It'll be all over my social media. Go follow immediately. Hilarious comic, Luxury Lounge. You ready?
I'm ready.
Can't you just check me out? Jared, an esteemed guest, Loyal Coffee with JTrain subscriber here. Though that is my favorite podcast you do, Luxury Lounge is a close second. Well, thank you. I have a Patreon podcast I do every Monday where I talk about the week that was. It's a little story time with JTrain. So if you want to sign up, patreon.com/Jared Freid. This happened to me yesterday, and I knew I just had to write it in the lounge. I swung by my local supermarket after a workout class at 8 p.m. to grab a six-pack and a few other items. For clarification, I live in Pennsylvania, so beer being sold in the supermarket is relatively new and is sold in its own section. As a Penn State grad, there used to be these like bottle shops that were separate from liquor stores, and then also liquor stores are owned by the state, I think. Bottle shops could be their own thing, not in the supermarket.
Virginia, I grew up in Virginia.
Same. So you know these blue laws. The general rule is you can check out other items while with you, as long as it's less than 10 items. And after presenting my six-pack, I begin loading my other 6 items onto the counter. It's all bullshit. Like the idea that like if you have 11 supermarket items and you can't buy beer with it, like what?
Who's counting? Right. It takes a special type of cashier to count.
Well, I guess if the cashier's told you will lose your job and go to jail for selling, we'll lose our license if you do this.
Oh, that's like a law? No.
Yeah, it seems as though. Immediately, the checkout guy starts aggressively saying, no, only beer and wine here, no other items. I try to reason with him that it's only a few items, and there was no one in line behind me, but he could not be convinced. After I walked away, he went to a booth near his cashier and just took a seat. To make matters worse, I get to the front of the supermarket with my 6 items, and the line are all quite long. Thankfully, the customer service desk is able to check me out. I tell her that the only reason I'm up here is because the cashier in the beer wine section would not check me out. She asked for his name, Rusty. Okay.
Of course.
Which I gladly give her. And she says, I'm the second person to complain about him not checking them out at the beer wine section. It is rare for me to complain about service and employee, but after a long day of work, his rude demeanor and refusal to check me out, my 6 items just hit me the wrong way. Just do your job. Signed, a Karen in the making. So I guess she goes to the beer wine checkout. The guy says, I can't do food with beer wine. And you were right. I apologize. This person is a monster. It takes us, Rusty as a certain type of douchebag to be like, no, 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 and to sit on the sidelines to not let you. This is the foot soldier.
Because it's 10 items, right? So she had 6, and he just refused to do it.
Right.
It's cashiers who are on a power trip. It's that and hostesses that drive me insane. Because it's like, clearly they are coming from something that's not. You're not coming from a good place if you're a cashier on a power trip.
Right. You really have access to grind, and you're going to do it with people that have to deal with you.
Yeah, and it's as if no one else is having a rough day.
Right, and no one wants to complain. Like, when she writes a Karen in the making, like, this whole Karen thing has kind of becomes the boogeyman for, don't be that person. And it's like, no. Sometimes that person has to be our leader. Sometimes we need someone to go, Rusty is a piece of fucking shit.
And here's the thing. I feel that way too. You want to be careful about how of course you want to be kind to people and treat, service workers with respect and all of that. But I've worked in service. You do have a job at the end of the day. So for us to be like upset when someone isn't doing their job, that doesn't make you a Karen. I sound like a Karen. I'm like, thank God I'm not blonde anymore.
Well, the thing is, the minute you start defending Karens, the minute you sound just like them. And it's like, it's almost like, it's okay to complain about people. I guess there's a good way to complain and a bad way to complain. The minute you make it about, like, people, what generally happens in those Karen videos is they want to win.
Exactly.
So then they start grasping at other things outside of their initial argument that live in the land of, like, racism and awful things, Yeah,
but to be like, hey, you can check out 10 items. I have 6. Why aren't you doing your job? That's not a Karen.
Right.
I feel like it's just.
As long as you stay in the pocket of your complaint, you're good. Like, I was at Indianapolis. I did shows there, and this group got kicked out within 2 minutes of me being on stage. Like, within 2 minutes. Like, they were being a problem. I was told in the back, hey, these people are being a problem. I got on stage. This guy yells out at me. I'm like, and I did the thing. I go, I'll let him bomb. Like, he just started talking, and I go, see how difficult this is? You weren't funny at all for those 2 minutes that you just gave a monologue. And everyone laughed at him, and then he went and just started talking loudly to his table, and it's like, you're not even having fun. Like, I got you, bro. We laughed at you. You gave
it to him. You gave him his 5 minutes of fame.
Right. Tap out. You tried to make the crowd laugh. You did not. I made them laugh at you. I win. Hit, 3 taps. That's it. I'm the king of Wakanda. Get out. So that's how it works in the Black Panther. That's how it works here. So then he, instead of submitting, he talks loudly at his table. So they go, come on, you're not even in the game of this show. You're now ruining it for other people. So they kick him out. The girl he's with, she starts yelling into the room, you're funny. It's this crap. This place is a piece of shithole. And it's like, okay, now she's yelling at the place. Fine. I guess you're in the pocket. Then I guess on her way out, she started looking at people working there going, you work at a comedy club. That means your life sucks. And it's like, now you're outside the pocket. Now you're now you're a Karen. You have transferred into, because now you're just being mean to people. There's no like, hey, this club has done me wrong. Now you're doing wrong by these people. You know what I mean? Yeah,
I feel like that anger, a certain level of anger is like a certain level of drunk, where you're out of control, obviously, of your emotions. So you're just like, your brain is just firing on all cylinders, and you lose focus because you're controlled by something else, whether it's anger or alcohol. And then when it's both, you're like, what are you talking about? Right. Why are you talking?
Right. It's funny. I would love to go through Karen videos and go, there's the moment.
Yeah.
There's the moment where she lost her war, and
he starts referencing things from 2007. You're like, what are you talking about?
What the hell's going on? What does Christina Aguilera have to do with this? JTrain.
But then you find out someone's backstory, and it's like their kids haven't spoken to them in 10 years, and you're like, oh, there it is.
Right. Everything's awful for them. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. Here with Hanna Dickinson at Hans Dickey. Luxury Lounge. Hinge call feature. I didn't even know this was a feature. Dear Jared and guests, I look forward to listening to Luxury Lounge every week. Thanks for creating a safe space for all the best complaints. My complaint, I'm single and on the apps and trying to be more discerning, not date guys that I clearly know would not be a good match for me. In order to do this, I'm trying to be better about unmatching or hiding people once I realize I'm not interested. However, on Hinge, the button you hit to unmatch someone is right next to the button to video call them. Are you serious?
I don't have Hinge, so.
I mean, I have it. I don't use the unmatch button. Listen.
You never want to give up options.
Right. Listen, you can keep talking to me for the rest of your life. I just don't. It's just, I guess, I think you hinge how you live. And it's like, yeah, I got shit fucking sprawled around this house. I got 30,000 hats over there.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, why would do I look like a guy who organizes his Hinge? No, so I think but it is very funny to me that they're like, yeah, the button where I don't want to fuck you is right next to I'll come over and fuck you.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of risky, kind of hot, kind of dangerous.
Yeah, it is dangerous. I like the way your mind went. You're like, oh, this is kind of live on the wild side.
Yeah.
They write, maybe I just massive fingers, but I have now accidentally video called like 3 guys.
Sounds like you have massive fingers.
Yeah. This might be
this might be a sausage finger
right.
complaint.
This might be your horse hoof that you're dealing with. Why does Hinge need a call feature at all? And why did the UX team, that is way more UX?
Is that like the technology,
the tech department, think it was good to put it right next to the location where you unmatch to hide someone. Thanks for all you do for the complaining community. I love this complaint. It's a fantastic complaint. I agree with it. It might be your finger, but I also agree with it. Like,
yeah, I don't understand why there's a call feature. I have called a guy on the Bumble one,
right? Just
to be a problematic,
What do you mean to be problematic?
I think
this kind of lands in the same land of, oh, this is exciting.
I feel like because when I was this was a while ago. I don't know. I forget why I called. I think I was still drinking at this time. Did Bumble have calling?
This was a product of the pandemic. They were like, okay, we want more video calls because I can't really go out with these people. We have to start, packing. We did things for a reason. We got to start packing up our pandemic stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I understand, like, Liz, you want to do a video call before a date? I get it. I also understand not wanting to share your phone number. So that's, I think, what this is about, where they're like, hey, here's a way to do I think a video call is actually, like, why not just a regular call? But I get it. They're like, hey, I want to do pandemic-style video call before I'm even going to give someone my number. I get that. I understand the safety involved with that. I would also say you should have to opt into that version of dating. Like there should be a button before video call. Hey, I don't know. There's some in between.
Doesn't it say, like, are you sure you want to call? Maybe not. I haven't been on it in a while.
I don't know.
Let's call someone right now.
Let's call.
Let's call Emily.
Can you imagine? You're like, oh, hold on. I'll go on Hinge. I've recently... Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, so... Okay, so it's not exactly... So here's what you have to do. There's the call, there's the phone, there's the voice, there's the... So you can see at the top, there's the phone, which is a phone call. There's the video call, which is the video call. Then there's the 3 dots. That means more options. That's where you hit unmatch. So... And the video one is wildly close.
Yeah.
Or is it a fat finger?
It's...
Both.
Look, I don't...
Well, also, if I'm drunk, you're talking about, being sober, right?
That's the danger zone for me.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, of course. All of that close. But the good news is you're planning on unmatching them anyway.
Right.
So it's like, okay, bye.
Right. Did I get a call? Where'd they go?
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if you unmatch them if it says you have a missed call.
Right.
I wonder.
Someone chose violence that created these dating apps.
I heard the dating apps have the same technology as casinos.
Oh, absolutely. Look how they look. I mean, look at the function. The function is when, ding, 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 when you get a match.
Yeah, that's so true. I guess my cousin said that the other week. I was like, what? And she's like, are you that dumb? I was like, I guess that's so sick in my mind.
Well, it's literally the gamification of dating. So, yeah, and in the same way that a casino game, that it is sick. It is bad. I can recognize it because I know, like, when I go on the toilet to, like, let my brain ooze on my phone, it's part of the circle.
Yeah.
Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I've never been on LinkedIn, but
nice subtle ad.
Right. I don't know, but it enters that brain goo circle.
Yeah, that's why I don't. I mean, I guess I have Bumble, but I don't really use it, and that's the only one I have because I don't know.
Right. I'm on the precipice of deleting, and I know I should. I'm not using it well. I'm not a captive audience. Shelby, again, calling in. Another FaceTime. If you're on YouTube, what a treat. Yes. I don't know. I don't. Stop calling me. Thank you, Shelby. Yeah, can you imagine someone just randomly calling you from Hinge?
I mean, I had a guy call me before a date the other night.
Mm-hmm.
I went on a date the other night for the first time.
Did you appreciate it?
I did, actually.
First time in how long?
6 months.
How'd it feel?
He was so hot that when I sat down, I was like, how is this happening? And he was recently divorced. So I was like, okay, hit the lottery. But then he asked about stand-up shows. Told me 3 times on the walk home that he wanted to go. And then I sent him the details later, and he just ghosted me.
Really?
Yes.
Guys say things, on the way home saying, I want to go to your stand-up show is like a compliment of a certain kind.
Well, because he asked at the restaurant, said there. And then as we were getting up, he brought it up. And then as we were walking home, he's like, oh, well, on Sunday. And then when he dropped me off, he's like, maybe Sunday. I'll see you Sunday.
And this was Sunday was yesterday.
Yeah.
And
I sent him the details, and I was like, you don't have to buy a ticket, but, like, let me know. I'll put you on the list. And he just didn't respond.
Interesting. And was the day fun?
He was not funny.
He wasn't funny?
No.
Did you think he was going to be funny before the date?
No, I didn't. But I think he, I do think, finding out I was a comedian, he took a couple swings.
Of course. Men are, it is I guess it's good and bad. Men are, a lot of their ego is made up from, I think I'm funny. So when a woman says it on date, I can imagine that it's, like, good in the sense that, like, you now know if they're that type of douche. Like, that they're going to, like, oh, time to spar with the comedian. Like I wouldn't want that, but if they do that, at least, get rid of them.
Yeah, he wasn't like that. I don't know. He seemed, I was nervous, and then he seemed nervous. So it was like, it was okay. It was like a date that I think my therapist would be like, just try to go on another one. I wasn't like that pumped, but he brought it up the show so many times. I was like, okay, let's try it. And then to get ghosted, I was like, that wasn't worth sending even the details. You know what I mean? Like, I just feel like shit right now.
You have to feel good. 6 months out of the game, you're back in it. You went on the date, you did it.
That's true.
That's a good thing.
Yeah, and I've gained weight since I got off the Adderall, so my friend was like, at least you pulled someone at that weight. I was like, true.
What a friend. JTrain podcast at gmail.com, JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Here with Hanna Dickinson at Hands Dicky on Instagram. Go follow. Luxury Lounge, my job is too easy. Feather of the highest degree. Thank you for making me giggle on the reg, my complaint. I graduated and worked in my healthcare job for less than 3 years before I was completely burnt out and just done with the healthcare industry. Flash forward 7 months, and I have been in a work-from-home job that is low stress and, for the lack of a better term, easy peasy. But my job is so easy that it is almost too easy. My manager is very big on not micromanaging, to the point that I could literally not check in for a week or more, and it would not be concerning to them. I have a certain number of tasks that are encouraged to make each day, but if I don't, it's okay. I'm not clocking in or out, so if I want to start at 10 and end at 3, cool. While the freedom is nice, it has almost made it harder to get my work done because I'm just like, well, if I don't do it, so what? I'm literally writing this email while working in my pajamas after coming back from a midday chiropractor appointment. Like, who gets to do that? Anywho, thanks for your time. I feel like you may roast me on this, but it's the lounge, so be nice. Sincerely, a bored, not bored employee. What do we think? So
they're bragging or complaining?
There's a complaint here. The complaint is I I feel like I can understand the idea of like, I should be doing more than I'm doing, you know?
Yeah, I'm a little hesitant to complain because I work at a comedy job. Like technically I'm at work right now. Actually, my boss just texted me. So, but I understand the feeling of like not feeling fulfilled.
Right.
Like I re-downloaded WAG. I have a full-time job. I re-downloaded WAG the other day to be
What's
a WAG walker to walk dogs.
Okay.
I mean, I have a dog and I haven't seen her because she was with my parents for. It's been a couple weeks, so part of it was that, but a part of it is just like I get the feeling of wanting to feel like you're contributing something every day,
right.
but then you're not, and it doesn't matter.
Hey, if I were them, here's what I would do. Sometimes you need to force yourself into like a schedule, and actually will make you feel better. Because I do agree with you. Like the complainers, I feel unfulfilled.
Yeah.
They're not saying that. They're saying, oh, how cool is it that I get to do nothing? But the idea of like you start at 10, I could end at 3, and then you never really have, and they said no check-in, check-out. There is satisfaction in ending the day. Putting that little card in the Flintstones checkout thing that makes you go, cha-ching, I had a day. So if I were them, what I would do is I would schedule my job for 2 hours a day. I would go, I have a 2-hour-a-day job. I would schedule it. I would get everything done in those 2 hours. And then outside of that, I would start some other shit. I would have my day. I'd go to the chiropractor. I would feel good about going to the chiropractor. Like them saying I haven't gone, who goes to the chiropractor at noon? Well, someone who got their job done at 11.
Yeah, actually, I feel like it's kind of like the video calling thing. Like schedules have changed so much. I feel like actually a lot of people are going to the chiropractor at noon. But I also think getting out of sweatpants really helps me. Like if I'm in sweatpants and sitting on the couch and like doing work, I'm doing way less than if I'm in tight ass jeans, like suffocating my stomach and just sitting upright, because you're forced to. It just keeps you more alert.
Totally agree. I had this on Saturday. Saturday, I was in Spokane. I'm like, I'm not gonna go sightseeing there, you know. So I was like, I made a list of everything I needed to get done, and when I got it done, I was like, whoo! Like I had a day. I could look back on the day. I felt accomplished. I went and did the shows that night. I was ready. I was on my game. Went to the gym. Felt good about the gym. It changed my whole perspective. So I think, like, I know you have a manager who doesn't give a fuck. Well, you schedule your manager. Like, I only do this job from 10 to 12 every day, and then I'm done. So when your manager's like, I want to have a meeting 10 to 12, I can do it then.
Yeah.
And now and then have that to-do list that you get done. And then literally I would do the Flintstones. Cha-ching, I'm done.
Yeah, it sounds like you kind of need to step in and be your own boss.
Right.
And then feel like accomplished whatever way that is. And then if you have all this extra time, what else do you want to be doing? Like there are so many ways to make money, or if you don't need more money, like go get a dog, go get a girlfriend, like go volunteer, do something.
Totally agree. I hope that we're watching like Shark Tank in a year and they're like, well, this podcaster told me, and then in my free time, I created a business. Like that could be what we're starting here. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. Here with Hanna Dickinson at Hands Dicky. Go follow Luxury Lounge Credit Card Fuckery. Also, Hanna has a show in Seattle. Seattle, get out there. Jared All the Feathers. My LLC makes me so very angry. I have a Southwest credit card. Oof. Southwest credit card. Can you use that?
It's like a Target gift card.
Right. It's a tier above the general credit card. I don't use this card often due to switching sides to American Airlines, but I like to keep my accounts open. The limit on my Southwest card was somewhere around $15,000. I'm on top of my credit score and check Credit Karma monthly. When returning from a week's vacation in the Caribbean, I was checking to make sure everything was hunky-dory when I noticed my Southwest credit card limit dropped by $13,000. I immediately contacted them and was told that this was due to a missed payment followed by a random credit check. For whatever reason, I don't have this card set up for auto pay, but I never miss payments. This particular time, I missed it because I was on vacation. Mistakes happen, but then a random credit check, they found that I had too many accounts open for their liking. I like free points. What can I say? So then I had to call back to reapply for my original credit limit. The kicker, my credit card usage percentage had gone up due to the fact that they dropped my limit to a mere $2,000. So not only was I denied, but the company bonus money that I used at the beginning of the year to pay off some credit card debt has no longer made a dent in the usage percentage. My score has gone down because of this, and now I am going to have to spend months trying to get it back up. Oh yeah, they also had to run a second credit check, which also hit my score. Fuck Southwest and fuck credit. Here's my issue with this. I have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
I feel the exact same way.
Right?
I was hoping you did. But...
yeah, because there are some people that are so up on their stuff that they make you feel dumb for having no knowledge of what the fuck they're talking about. Like, when I see a commercial that's like 0 APR or whatever the fuck they say in car commercials, I'm like, ah. And maybe that's, I guess part of that is a privilege. Like I pay off credit cards in full every month. So I've never really had credit card debt as they speak of here. So that's a privileged point of view that I'm like not playing this game with, random credit checks. And I do understand that checking your credit brings down your credrit. That's crazy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's like an insane thing. And then there's all these, and I understand they're trying to build the credit back by paying every month you get. All of this feels like a weird game that someone invented to make money off of us. Yeah,
I recently, like a year and a half ago, I won a lawsuit, so I came into a lot of money, and then I was using credit cards like crazy, and I started, I didn't get into trouble, but I almost did. And because credit cards were like, I was new money. Like, I just didn't understand how it worked. And I didn't know what anything meant. I didn't understand interest rates. I was so just, I'm a comedian. So my money, it was a very bad, it was a big learning lesson. So I feel for this person in that,
they always say to pay, they say is like what you hear from like financial experts. Like, if you're talking about debt, the only debt you should stay away from is like credit card debt. Like, because it's like crazy rates. And if you have like 3 types of debt, you have like credit card debt, mortgage debt, wherever else you might have debt. They go, pay that one first. It's like paying yourself. Like you're paying off like a crazy expense.
Yeah, and it's just credit card debt's scary because it feels like it's really out of your control as far as...
It can get out of control quickly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so I feel for this person, but I also, it's like, I don't understand how the limit dropped from $13,000. Like, that's what I don't understand. Like,
well, it seems like it does, sometimes with credit cards, I'm sorry to interrupt, it does feel like you are in international waters. Like, they can just keep changing rules anytime, and you have no idea what game you're playing in. And they have a million lawyers and whatever to be able to like, no, you didn't see this line? And you're like, of course I didn't see that fucking line. I just hit agree, I'm getting a credit card. That's why, to me, their biggest issue in this email, like, is, what can I say? I like free points. The points are not worth.
No.
These points are used to get you in to their game of poker.
It's like a doctor giving you a lollipop. Like, you still got to pay that copay and like all the medications
get
that
the
you're
shots
getting.
And get all that. And no point is worth, to me, the idea of a credit card company going, hey, so we did a random credit check and you're fucked. Like, right? Like,
yeah. Especially Southwest.
Right.
No offense.
You're not going to get your free upgrade on the Southwest flight. Sorry. Like, I'd be like, this isn't worth it. Like, what points? What are we getting with these points? It's like, oh, you get a Marlboro t-shirt. It's like...
Yeah, it's like
we
a
don't need these
socialist
points.
airline anyway.
Right. Like, I listen, I had a conversation the other day. There was a girl that I matched with on a dating app. We got to phone number exchange. And I was going to go on I was going to get drinks with her. And there was a point where I was like, somehow we started talking about Delta. And she was like, yeah, I'm just going to start flying a lot with this new job. I was like, I'm a Delta guy. Like, I got the credit card, I got this. And she was like, why? And I was like, well, I get upgrades and never really pay for bag stuff. And, I go in the lounge and I get, I was like, and they have the most options from New York City, Newark, LaGuardia, JFK are all Delta places. And she was like, well, why? And I'm like, I don't know what else to tell you. I go, and she was like, do you think it's worth it? I was like, well, I just gave you all the reasons why it's worth it to me. And then she was like, and I was like, she kept going. She was like, but what about options? And I go, well, I don't know what you're getting with your options. Like, I was like, I don't want to take a Spirit flight, like to save $20. I'd rather have the goods that come with being a committed Delta person. And I was like, I was sitting there going, well, maybe my whole life has been a lie. Like, like I had a moment.
Oh, you were reading into what she was saying, or like falling for what she was.
Well, I didn't read into it, but then this past weekend when I'm flying and I didn't get the first class upgrade, I'm going, maybe she was right. Like, these points are a little bit of a. You do come to wonder, what is this all for?
I will say I'm a Delta person as well.
Right.
And then have you ever checked to see how many flight credits you have?
I have a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they don't make it easy to find that.
I know. I found mine the other day, and I had like $1,000 worth of credits I just didn't see. So I booked all these like flights that I had. And I do think with Delta, I agree that sticking to one, it is worth it, because I get upgraded for +2. Sometimes Delta one, not all the time, but the lounge, everything, it's just like, it is worth it to me.
If you fly a lot, you just want to feel taken care of.
Yeah.
You don't want to just be some loser.
Yeah, and you also, like, if they lose my bag, like, I know they'll look for it. You know what I mean? I feel comfortable with Delta and just being with an airline, so I don't know. I don't understand her argument. Her argument was, like, you should just have all your chips on the table.
The argument had so little backup that I'm not going on a date with her. Like, she talked herself out of a date, which she probably is happy about, but I'm saying, like, I was so...
She's telling her friends, this guy's so obsessed with Delta, he wouldn't go out with me.
Right. Well, I mean, we're sitting here looking at her Southwest credit card, and I'm saying to her, this isn't worth it.
No.
And I'm giving you the reason it's not worth it is you have a credit card that is just out there, just being out there. And I don't think having a credit card out there is worth the random credit check. I think the credit card points, like, I think you're better off narrowing it down than widening.
Yeah.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. We got time for a couple more? Let's do luxury complaint. Too much free stuff in my luxury apartment building. Jared Feather, I've been a fan of yours for years. Have lost count of how many friends I've put on your podcast. My husband and I went to your stand-up show in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and had a blast. Well, thank you. On to my complaint. I live in a beautiful luxury high-rise apartment building. My husband and I say all the time that it is the nicest place we have ever lived. The units themselves are beautifully laid out and finished. The entire building is decorated beautifully, and the building staff are super friendly, excellent at their jobs. On the ground floor, right off the lobby, there are 2 spacious mail rooms with mailboxes around the perimeter and a large table in the middle of the room. A few months ago, people started leaving out books that they were getting rid of. I love reading, and I'm usually looking for a good book, so I thought, cool, love it. People gradually started leaving out other items. Oh no. She's got a yard sale going on in the mailroom. I love reading. Cool, love it. People gradually started leaving out other items they were getting rid of with the books. Think a basket or a decorative bowl here and there. This was fine with me, as the items were usually nice and then quickly taken. As time has passed, however, people have started leaving more items, some of which are straight up junk. The mailroom now looks like there's a constant yard sale going on, totally at odds with the building's luxurious aesthetic. Can you imagine you walk into this beautiful brand new building, there's just a rocking chair that looks like it's from the 80s? Just say, what the fuck is that? Oh, someone just doesn't want it?
Yeah.
Today I saw items that should go in the trash laid out, such as reusable grocery bags, empty boxes, plastic cups, and old shopping bags. People need to throw things away instead of leaving it out for free and believing they are doing someone a favor. They are actually doing the opposite by detracting from the order and decor of our beautiful building. Keep up the good work, Jared. What do you think?
I mean, I think she does need to send this email to management.
Right.
For sure.
Yes. She's within her right to be like, I don't like living in the
trash room,
Sanford and Sons house. Right? Like, it's an old reference, but it makes some sense.
Yeah.
Like, this is the trash. People would think is your lobby the refuse room.
And it's like one man's trash is another man's treasure. No. Not in this case.
Not in this case. And I do agree with what she's saying. She's like, oh, they're doing it to feel better about themselves, because throwing things away does take a certain amount of strength. That's why hoarders exist. Those people have lost the ability to have that strength. And when I throw things away, like, look at, I have 1,000 hats. I should probably get rid of a bunch of them. There's a bag. There's see the white trash bag over there.
Is that the clothes?
That's to go to Goodwill. It's been there for months.
But to be fair, the Goodwill in New York is so impossible to drop stuff off at.
Because you have to carry it. And it's a full-on workout.
Yeah.
And there's one around the corner. Their hours are weird. So I've walked over with a big bag and been like, fuck, today's not the day. Got to walk it back.
Yeah.
So this person, they are basically taking the easiest route out of throwing things away. They don't have to do the moment where you throw in the trash. You go, am I doing the right thing? Am I a bad person? You know?
They're like, oh, someone will want this used cup that has a crack in it. It's like, no, we don't.
No one wants it.
Yeah, or it's just this feeling of, because I'm a hoarder. I have
tendencies.
Yes, especially with clothes, because I'm like, what if I want to wear that?
Right.
Those plastic pants, like that are so loud.
Right.
Maybe I'm trying to get someone's attention. I get it, but it is a thing of like, just if you don't want it. A book is different because people do read books. And if it's a good book and you already read it, fine. But if it's like, if you don't want it, chances are someone in your luxury building doesn't want it either.
Right. And here's the other thing. It makes this person look snobbish because this has to be the building needs to get involved because she can't go, hey, idiots, stop putting your trash out. And then it's like, my stuff is trash to you? Like it becomes this personal thing.
Yeah.
So she needs the building to step in. So it's like, I do think they need to go, if you're going to do books, you're going to get the trash. So they need to go blanket policy. Hey, we're done. And here's the information for a place you can donate.
Or, have a Saturday flea market,
Right.
You go do a clothing swap.
And at the end of the day, we will be tossing everything that doesn't go.
Yeah, and we'll send it all to Goodwill. Maybe that's the way to go.
JTrain Podcast at gmail.com, JTrain Podcast at gmail.com. Here with Hanna Dickinson at Hands Dicky. Go follow. Luxury Lounge, I got your email 30 seconds ago. Enough with the IMing. Jared and guests appreciate having a space to vent about this. I'm sitting in my office commiserating with my coworker about two of our older boomer colleagues' incessant habit of sending an email and without fail pinging us via Teams chat within 5 minutes, though usually less, to let us know that they sent an email and then immediately recapping it in the chat for context. My colleague and I are millennials. Anyway, enough. I had a feeling they were millennials. But yes, I want to say I saw your email and I will get to it when I'm done with my current task. Don't immediately bombard me with IMs about it. Better yet, just IM me to start. This isn't brain surgery. No one's going to die if I, God forbid, wait a whole hour before I reply to you. Thanks for listening and for always keeping me entertained while I deal with this madness. What do you think?
So I have Outlook for work.
Okay.
And it is the most annoying email interface. And I'm missing emails all the time. So I agree with just sending a chat. Just send a Slack because if you need something done quickly, because I miss Outlook. I hate Outlook more than anything. But yeah, I don't think if you're going to send an email, don't follow up with a direct chat. It's kind of like, your complaint where it's like, don't call me and then send me a text. It's like one or the other. If it's an emergency, Slack it to me. I'll get it done. Put it above my first task.
Right.
But what are we doing here?
If you need an answer within an hour, chat.
Yes.
If you need an answer within a day, I'd say chat. If you need an answer within a week, email.
Agreed.
And listen, that's the rules. If you need something now, call.
Yeah.
We have so many forms of communication that has become so confusing. We're so in touch. Think of dating. If you bring it to dating, it's like, how much should I be in touch with someone who I've been on one date with?
I know.
You go, if you want, and then they go, if you want to do, you will. And you're like, well, I got other shit to do. And sometimes I forget about people that I just met for 2 hours for drinks. And I don't know. I can't believe our parents used to go to work and then come back at the end of the day and be like, how was your day?
I am so jealous.
I'm jealous too. I kind of want to make that a policy in my next relationship. We only talk when we're, can you imagine? I go on a date and I go, I have one rule.
Don't talk to me in between sightings.
I will see you once a week, and we shall talk. That's the thing. Like, that's the problem, though. Is like if you put any type of rule on this, you're this crazy person who can't handle like the world we live in today. Like,
I mean, I guess as someone who's been on one date in 6 months, I'm not an expert. I can be like giving out advice, but yeah, I just think there's something. Well, the reason why I don't like so much texting is because say someone gets busy and it slows down, it's like then you're like, oh, it slowed down, like clearly, or it's just so obvious. It's like if you come in too hot with too much communication,
right?
It's just bound to like die down. Like you can't spend all your time talking to someone. And I don't want to.
I agree with you, but also it feels like you know them more than you do. Like
exactly.
I could like if you enter into my top 5 people I'm texting with, you're as much family as my parents, and and it's my fault too because I'm like, again, you want this like subtle line between I'm interested and you're not my family yet, you know, and you go
or like even my friend yet,
right? And to the other side, sometimes it's like, well, you text me asking about my weekend when you were away. Why wouldn't I think that? And you're like, you're right. You should think that this is more important than it is. I you know, it's hard to like differentiate.
Yeah, I guess being on the other side as the girl, I guess I stopped dating because it was so confusing for me. Like, and I was just like, am I crazy? And then I was just kinda, yeah, I was a little cuckoo. So I was like, I need to stop putting like so much value into these interactions because it's just not reciprocated. And I think men and women see it differently. So I don't know. Yeah, I think it's so confusing, and it's like until it's the right person, it's just going to feel bad.
JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. JTrainPodcast@gmail.com. We got 2 more. You ready?
I'm ready.
At Hands Dickey, go follow. Luxury Lounge. March private jet shortage. JTrain and guests writing in with a very luxury problem. As part of my job, I book travel, and we are planning to book a trip in late March. We need a private jet for this trip for about 75 people, and currently almost every single private plane and crew is being used for March Madness travel, so there are none available for our booking. I don't even have a solution, just want a place to share my very luxury issue, as it's hard to find anyone who relates. What do you think?
Can't relate. May I recommend like a bus?
Right. Well, I think if you're...
a party bus?
You definitely can't relate.
Yeah, we're in different tax brackets.
Hey, we can't find a private jet. Would you like a Greyhound? Oh, you don't know what the fuck I'm dealing with, do you? Listen, I get it. I get the complaint. I'm happy they brought it to the lounge. Totally. I agree. If you can't get the thing you need, it's annoying. It's even more annoying when you're like, oh, can you believe the private jet shortage that's going on in March? Like, here's the thing. Your class is directly linked to whether you know about a private jet shortage in March and don't know about it.
I certainly didn't hear about it.
Right. The upsetting thing about this for me is that I didn't hear about it.
I'm upset too.
I'm upset to be on the outside of the complaint about March. And then if someone was like, yeah, March is tough for private jets, I'd be like, wow, those 2 royals. I can't even believe I'm amongst them. Like, this is something people should use in their life. If you're listening right now, if you're wondering, how rich is my friend? Hey, did you hear about the private jet shortage in March? And then they go, oh, thank you for bringing it up. This is what everyone needs to do. If you... On a date, listen, I want to know, what kind of class am I dealing with? Because, listen, the income inequality in this country is at an all-time high. To say that is not even, I'm not even exaggerating at all. So you're on a date with someone. Hey, how's your March been? Pretty good. You see about the private plane shortage? I'm so happy you brought this up. There's no one I can talk to about it.
Or they're like, I got ahead of it. And then they're super rich.
Oh my God. This is they're super rich if they're like, no, we have our own.
Yeah.
We never, thankfully, because we don't like getting the rental game. We have our own plane, so we never have to deal with this. Thank God.
Yeah, like Kim is not worried. She has Kim Air.
Right. Kim. Even the fact that she has a single name, we didn't even have to say Kim Kardashian. Yeah, Kim is going. Oh, I heard about these poors dealing with A private jet shortage, thank goodness.
She has her cashmere seats.
Does she really?
She was like, Kendall came on it and she was like, you better not be eating that on my cashmere seat. I just can't imagine that sentence ever coming out of my mouth.
I can't imagine that we watch a show where we delve into their problems and it's entertaining to us. Like, I can't believe what the juju they have done on the public for us to care. Because, again, and I'm not one of those, like, who cares about the Kardashians? We do. Factually, as a country, we care enough that they are on cashmere jets.
Well, my thing watching the news show is it's so interesting to me to see billionaires just, like, day to day. Like, it's like their lives are so insane. Their homes are insane. Like, it's so... And I love, like, interior design and fashion stuff. So now it's more interesting to me than the old episodes because it's more just, like, looking at the houses and what they're wearing and, like, where they're vacationing. Does
Rob make any appearances on the new show?
Absolutely not.
I want to hear from Rob. That's kind of the person that is the most interesting subject of the group at this point.
He's got that Tabasco sauce.
Yeah. So the socks, he moved on from socks.
I think he does both. He does socks and Tabasco.
The socks was such an epic failure, right? Wasn't it known as a failure? Here's the thing about, like, again, billionaires kids starting a business. Rob doesn't he have to be patient zero for privilege at that point where you go, you can start as many businesses as you want.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, it's also hard because he's not attractive, right? So he's the least attractive one, and all their businesses are, like, based on how hot they are.
Right. Well, he's like, I'll be hot for something.
Yeah.
I'm getting into the Tabasco game.
Exactly. That's why Chloe got so hot. Now you're like, okay, well, I'll buy her products.
Well, Chloe, if I were her, I would have moved to an island about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The minute all the husbands started cheating and, like, publicly and just not caring, like that Tristan Thompson, like he was just openly like
he did it again. He just did it again. It's like
yeah, like I don't know. Maybe she's not embarrassed. I guess any news is good news to them.
I think. Well, on the show, it was just kind of like she's like at this point, what she didn't even like. She wasn't crying. She was like, I have nothing left to cry about.
Right. That would be the moment I'd move to the island and I would just have, like, men for my sexual needs shipped in if I were her. I would have my kids. I would, like, own the island and just go in the ocean every day. Like, I don't know.
I got stood up by a guy for a third time.
A third time?
A third time.
Okay.
And it was in that moment. I hadn't been on a date in 6 months, but I had been talking to him. So he was like, but I never went out with him because he kept standing me up.
So how'd you meet?
We met at a wedding.
So you meet at a wedding.
In Memphis.
He
lives across the street from me in New York, of the place I just bought.
Lives across the street from you in New York. You meet at the wedding. Hey, we should get drinks sometime.
He said, send me a reservation for the next evening.
Reservation for the next evening. Okay, here's where I'll give him empathy. Cancellation 1. Got ahead of himself. I'm tired from the wedding.
No. He had a girlfriend.
Oh!
But he said they were breaking up. And then, so he's like, can we meet next week? I'm seeing her this weekend. We're breaking up.
Hold on. So he set up the date with you at the wedding for the next night. So you're in Memphis at a wedding.
And then...
Jug band playing. You know, the guy in the banjo.
I didn't go home with him.
So you don't go home with him. He's like, let's set up a date for tomorrow night. Then the next day, you're like...
2 hours before.
2 hours before, you're like excited for this date. You're probably getting ready at this point in a certain way. Not, 2 hours. And then you say, hey... where we go, or he texts you, I have to let you know, I have a girlfriend, I'm breaking up with her, and then we can go on a date. What are you thinking then?
Well, he was like, we aren't together, that's why we weren't together at the wedding, but I am seeing her this weekend, and I wouldn't feel right going out with you before we see each other this weekend for the last time.
It's a great blend for him. Good guy, bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he's good guy who, I wouldn't want to do that to you. Bad guy for... doing that to you before letting you know what the deal was. Because honestly, what he did was he took away your time. You're at the wedding looking to meet people.
And my friend was there, and I was like, is it me or is he? Because he was hot. And she was like, he went right for you. Like, he was like, it wasn't like
He did kind of use you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because he gets you as his girlfriend for the night. You guys dance together, I'm sure. Kissing?
No, I didn't even kiss him.
That's okay, but you got the excitement. Both of you got the excitement of opposite sex that I'm attracted to giving me attention at the wedding. Yes.
And then that Saturday, he said, I'm flying home early, so I assume they break up. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, yeah, let's meet up. And then I'm like, okay, the next day. I was like, he was like, I'm flying home tonight. Let's meet up this week.
Okay.
And then on Monday, I was like, hey, like, what's...
So this is after the cancellation. Hey, did you break up with your girlfriend?
Yeah. And then next week, after he texts me Saturday night flying home, the next week, he goes, so I actually were not broken up. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
At that point, you got to goodbye.
That's what I did. I said goodbye. Then he accidentally texts me like months later. And I was like, literally just leave me alone.
What's the accidental text?
A friend of his was getting married named Hannah. And he texted me a picture of her like, here's your wedding photo. Which I'm like, no, you didn't.
Okay. Let's say that's what it... Let's believe him. So now... You go, hey, that's not me.
No, I didn't respond.
Okay.
Because it was in a group chat, and I was like, oh, well, it's the wrong Hannah. Because I met this other Hannah.
Okay.
At the wedding. And then
Oh, so he sent a group chat to all people that were at the wedding. Here's the picture that you should put up.
It was Hannah and her husband.
Okay.
But me and her husband. And I, like, didn't respond to that because I was like, what am I going to say to this?
How big of a fucking idiot are you? Yeah, okay.
And then he accidentally texted the group chat again the next day. And then he texts me on the side, oops, so sorry, and explains to me who Hannah was, as if I wasn't at the wedding.
Yeah, I know Hannah.
Yeah. And then he finds out I'm going to Miami for New Year's. He lives across the street from me.
Right.
He calls me and is like, come hang out, blah, blah, blah. And I was like... In Miami.
Did you hang out?
Has me fly down early to go to brunch.
Come on, stop it. Why did you go? I'm sorry.
This is what I was like.
I'm not blaming the victim here, but I have to say.
No, this is what I was like. I was like, okay, I have a layover and I have to leave at 6 a.m. So you better pick a good spot. And he was like, done. Had me change my plans all weekend. Had an itinerary, all this stuff. Canceled on me the entire way, and then tried to hook up with me like at the.
I mean, at the wedding at New Year's.
Like at the party or whatever, and I literally went off on him, and that's when I realized I had to get off Adderall.
Right. You're too focused on
my
him.
Brain,
yeah.
My brain is broken. I need to get away from this guy.
It's making me focus on this guy so much. His face should be on a wanted poster after this. Like,
want to hear a crazy story? So I told my coworker about it, and he was linked to somewhere I worked, and she called me, and she's like, is his name, can we bleep this out? She's like, is his name Benny? Yeah. And I go, yeah, how? Do you know that? She goes, I was telling my aunt.
That wasn't his name, by the way.
No, it wasn't his name. I was telling my aunt about how I quit my job because the company president was like friends with him, and he was just like, they were all sketchy dudes.
Okay.
And just like not great people. And she goes, and how you were going to go down with this boat with this guy, let's call him Dutchie.
Okay.
And she goes, Miami boat Dutchie. She goes, is his name Benny? And she goes, and my friend was like, she called me and she's like, is his name Benny? I was like, yeah. She goes, oh my God. My aunt has a client who went down there with this guy. He's like the West Elm guy.
So he's basically he brought down a many, and you got canceled for, or
she's
whatever.
A twin and 24. Can I blame him?
Well,
no.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, so this guy is a monster. He's
a monster.
Wow. I mean, it's not monstrous to cancel. It happens, whatever. Okay. Also, it's not, I wouldn't, but it is to like, all right, I'll bring them all down to Miami and I'll make my choice when. Is like
and
really
when I
sent
him a text like, hey, I haven't gotten the itinerary because he called me. I was like, I guess I'm not going to see you. No big deal. I'm actually going out to LA after, so I don't know if I'll ever see you, but I had a good time meeting you at the wedding. Like, no hard feelings. He called me immediately. Go, please, no, come, please. Like, I'll send you the itinerary.
That's a special type of piece of shit.
Yeah.
Oy.
And that's when I was like, I don't think I can date anymore because I was like so warped by this person.
Right. How could I have fallen? It's like Tinder swindler shit. You're like, how could I be so off base with feeling
like this is something that like, because in my head I was like, we live across the street for each other, we met through mutual friends, he knows my boss in California,
but he's letting that happen too. Like there's an element of like he's kind of like he's banking off of that.
Yeah, and he knew that too because I was like, that's so weird. He's like, isn't this weird? Isn't this crazy?
Right,
and
right.
I'm like,
he knows the romanticism involved in it that doesn't affect him, that might affect someone else.
Yeah,
and using that against you. Oy. I'm sorry.
No, I
I'm
mean,
happy you're back in the game now.
back in the game, and once again stood up. So,
well, you weren't stood up. You went on the date.
Went on the date.
He didn't come to the show. I understand why he said that, but all right. Hanna Dickinson, thank you for coming on.
Yeah, my complaint. Sorry, that's my other
I
complaint.
liked your complaint. Everyone go follow Hanna at HandsDickie on Instagram. So funny, so hilarious. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
I'm Jared Freid. We're here every Thursday in the lounge. JTrain podcast at gmail.com. Back next episode. Boom.